What is good, rookies, and welcome to our round 15 trades and VC with a nice little game day squad update and pack opening. You also have some chances to win some packs as well, so stay tuned for that. But you know the deal, you know the process. Been here long enough to know what we go through first. No update currently from Adelaide, but we're assuming nothing's changing too much. So we're just going to assume it's continue as normal. Brisbane, Coleman still 3-4. Payne, pretty much season-ending injury. Will be interesting to see what happens with the change-ups to the back line. We obviously saw Dunkley move forward, so Hipwood can move back. Hopefully we don't see a repeat of that. But again, there are some waiting in the barracks to come out. They mentioned Reveal and McKenna as well, so one to watch there. We've got Curnow as a test, which is good. We've got Cohen at test. Again, after Carroll's really nice game that we've been waiting for 2 months now. Love to see it. We've also got Mackay, which is 4-6. There's still a few that we're not really seeing much of, but Curnow is probably a massive one just in general. I feel sorry for anyone that jumped on Curnow for that massive game. Sucks. But otherwise, we're just hoping Carroll keeps his spot and does a similar performance to what he did against West Coast. So fingers crossed, they got North, so it could happen. For Collingwood, nothing too crazy. Lipinski is a test, which is awesome, and Maynard is a test as well. Big watch on Houston if Maynard is named. So not sure if you guys went there or if you considered it, but now that Maynard is coming back into the team, wouldn't be surprised to see a role shift or some scoring regression for Houston if you guys went there. Essendon, what's new? Look at this massive list. The main guys like Redmond, Ridley, and Reed are still around 2 weeks away, so we expect them back after the bye. What does that speak for in regards to a Johnson, Pryor, a Clark even on the wing who shifted roles last week? Would be really interesting to see what happens there. But Johnson had an absolute ripper game, hoping he can hold his spot. Freo, nothing too crazy. Amira's still a test. We got a test for Walker and Walters as well. So yeah, maybe Erasmus might not be the one. Got subbed out. Could potentially be done as a rookie. So if you have Erasmus, make sure you trade out of him. Again, his cash is pretty much maxed out now. Still waiting for Nod. So not sure what's happening there. For Geelong, no surprise here. Not updated. So we're not going to read too much into that. But again, Smith played. No reports or injuries out of that. Bose is good to go. Was named as an emergency. And Shaden Neal did play as well. So yeah, they just haven't updated it. What's new for Geelong? Gold Coast, nothing too crazy here. So we're going to skip past it. Again, so Daniels is TBC with his abductor injury. So he's going to be really cheap eventually when he comes back in. Briggs is still 1 week away. So we're probably seeing after his... they might even just wait till after the bye to bring him back in. So if anyone jumped on Madden, limited time to really, capitalize on any cash gain or scoring. We have Toby Green, which is a test for this week, so that's good. He's also a really cheap option that we can potentially look at to finish our teams. Stone, again, he's not coming back. But we could see, with Sam Taylor now out for 4-6 for his broken toe, we could potentially see a Connor Stone be called back. So if you held him for the DPP swings and you were just pretty much set in your ways of holding him for that, you might actually get some points and even some more cash gen out of him potentially. So see what happens there. Hawthorne, Scrimshaw is a test, and Warple's a test, along with Mitch Lewis. Outside of that, I don't even know. I wish I could see Newcomb on this list, so I had a good reason to trade him out. I don't, outside of it's Newcomb. For Melbourne, AJ's still suspended around 16. Unfortunate for us, but maybe he holds the spot when he comes back. And Spargo's still 2-3. But we saw McVee and Viney and everything back into the squad, which has been really nice as well. So, North Melbourne. Nothing too crazy except Comben is coming back for a test, so that's good. But Port, not listed on the injury list, which is nice. The Horny one, shoulder injury, concerns. Saw some footage of him, looked a little bit stiff. All reports are saying that he's fine and is going to play. Again, we've got the tight hamstring now. You've got shoulder concerns. Do we really bring that in, or do we go with Darcy? Like there's all these forward options seem to be an injury cloud. McRae even, it's not ideal. Not ideal at all. For Richmond, nothing crazy. Taj is a test. Short still 1 week away, but he's not bouncing back as much as they'd want him to. And that's pretty much all we're going to talk about for the Supercoach Shrimp Pros, boys. Philippou was a test, though, so a nice little turnaround for those that either held Philippou hoping he'd come back, or potentially a nice little cheap option for us if he finally finds some form towards the end of the season. Could be a nice cheap one for us. For Sydney, only test here we have is Goulden and Papley. Would be interesting to see what happens with Mills and Roberts and Goulden into the team to see what that mix looks like. Obviously, put some question marks on the Mills pick, but again, at the very cheap price, you can kind of afford to risk it if you had the trades available. And we'll go into that in a little bit more detail. For West Coast, nothing crazy here. And Bulldogs, Harms and Johannesson are a test, so interesting to see what happens with Bailey Dale if JJ comes back into the squad. They got Richmond this week, so we're probably expecting a big game from Dale, Bont, and Richards. Looks like Libba might be rested potentially. We'll have to wait till teams. But that's kind of the rumours. We'll see what happens. Or he could be back into that midfield with JJ coming back in. So we'll see what happens there. So with that done, before we jump into the team, Game Day Squad. If you're a part of it, awesome. Glad to have you in. Make sure you join the private league, which we'll get into in a little bit. If you haven't joined, there's a code called Rookie that you can use to sign up. You get 3 9-player common packs, which can give you anywhere from a bronze to a platinum. And then make sure you go join the Contenders League as well, where you can use bronze, silver, and gold to maximize your team and go in the running for good pack prizes if you do a top score. You get bragging rights if you're in the private league. So there's only 2 above me at the moment, so I'm holding my own, but we'll get into that a little bit more later. Let's dive into our plans and see what the community is doing for their trades. Alrighty, so looking at all coaches for trade outs this week, we have Huswaite, Pedlar, Ashcroft, Hewitt, Gray, Brock, Flynn, Clark, Hall, and Boyd. Very interesting. I imagine some are moving a Boyd on to a Madden potentially. I pretty much tick off on all these except Clark. I think Clark's fine. He got moved around to a defensive lockdown role on Cameron of all people, and just it wasn't his role. But again, I think we can see some really nice things that are going to come back. They've got Richmond again in round 18. Now, whether he holds his spot is another thing when we have all the main defenders come back. But we imagine the wing role isn't really going to get touched, so he should be okay. Apologies for the weird cuts. Just had an absolute sneeze attack mid-video. But for Clark, the wing role should be safe. Like Al-Huli, I don't think is a threat. There's Guelphy, I think, who might have played it. I don't think there's any threat there. So I think he's okay. I don't really see a need to trade out of him. He's still got plenty of cash to make as well. He only has a break even of 15. So out of all these on this list, the only one I'm probably not sure about is Clark. The rest are good to go, in my opinion. Pedlar does not seem to have the job security or the potential to do what he did in the first 2 weeks. Don't know why that is. Hewitt, obviously on his bye, still could be a hold if you wanted to and you didn't need to trade out at anyone. I don't mind holding Hewitt. He seems to be quite good, from a potential late upgrade if you needed it, because his scoring hasn't been too bad, like a 76, 85, 92. Like he's really found his role in the team. So very, very good things. In regards to trade out for the top 1%, because we always want to check this just to make sure, and it taps into those that are ranked highly. Again, same ones. We can now see that we're getting some Max Gawn and Erasmus thrown into the mix here. Otherwise, very much the same. Now, let's talk about Max Gawn, because I know a lot of people are going to be thinking about trading him down to open up some cash. I know I was definitely considering it and still am. I am potentially looking at other ways, though, to finish the team without trading out someone who was, let's just look at this here, averaging 130 across the season. Very scary to trade out of. Max Gawn, what aids us when we trade out Max Gawn? We're going to quickly pivot to my team, and we're going to have a look. So I've got 60k in the bank right now. I bought in TDK last week with the intention to trade out Gawn, which means I could trade Gawn, throw in a flex, and I can then either go to Mills to open up some cash, which I can't do that, or I can go down to a proper primo. I can do a few things here with this cash. I can try to split it and get an upgrade in the forward line for Pedlar, and then go Mills and maybe a Horn Francis or a Darcy. I can do a lot of things with this cash, which is probably why a lot of people are looking to do it. Now, if you don't have a ruck in your flex like a TDK like we planned for, what you're most likely doing is having to go Gawne down to TDK, which will open up 120-ish K. There's also Cameron, which I've seen a few people go for, which is a little bit cheaper. So you're opening up a fair bit more cash going Cameron. I don't know about the run. He's been okay this season. Like, let's be honest. Like, this is a decent scoring from a ruck. I think it's a safe pick. There's also, can't believe we're talking about this man, Grundy, who has been playing out of Grundy. There we go. Now, you're not opening up cash. This isn't a cash play if you grab Grundy. However, I do believe he has the second easiest run home for rucks. And look at his last few games. We've got a 121, a 135, a 109 against Gawne, a 161 in Adelaide, a 155 against Nank. He is playing out of his skin. And it is like, it's just one of those picks that we didn't expect to happen this season, especially when we see the start. But then he had some quieter games. But he's just come back and has found a new form and looks so good. He's got Vicentini or Sweet, English, Jackson Darcy, Romo, and he's got Big X, and he's got potentially Briggs, he's got Goldstein, McInerney or Fort, then he's got whoever Geelong throws up, and then he's got Flynn for the last one, or, you know, the dual ruck there. Now, again, we didn't see TDK go nuts, so 123 is still massive. But what a run. If you didn't need the cash and you just wanted to have cover for the buy and potentially be a bit potty and do an anti-pot against Gawne, I would dare say Grundy's the play. However, I feel like that's a bit of a luxury. I feel like most are going down to a TDK or Cameron. You're not going to make this on their buy. Same for, I mean, Nank's not too bad, I guess, but what's Nank been doing? Because I don't think he's been doing much this season, if I'm being completely honest. So if we look at Nank, 550. So again, like Cameron's probably cheaper and he's probably been playing a bit better than Nank, I believe. And that midfield, like the hit outs to advantage don't add too much. It's also that Cameron has the ability to be kind of like Gawne and do intercepts and, you know, be in the forward line. Does a lot of Gawne-like situations for a ruckman, that is. So I don't mind the TDK or Cameron. Cameron obviously opens up an extra 30K if you want to go there instead of TDK, which I don't mind. Coming off their buy, gives you cover. Same with TDK. If that 120, 150 opens up the possibility to upgrade a rookie to Mills and then swing them into flex and potentially finish your team, I don't mind it at all. I think most are going to go for that play with a Gawne. The counter argument is he's averaging 130. Now, yes, he has had his lowest scores of the season so far against Big X and Wits, who he does have in his next three, along with Adelaide, who again haven't been the easiest matchup. However, I don't think Gawne was I don't think he was in a really good form at the start of the season. I think he took a while to warm up into it. I saw this and think, yeah, no, he's a trade out. I actually don't think he is. I think he's going to be fine. I expect him to not go nuts here, but I expect him to at least give me a 105, maybe a 95 at worst, out of these three. If he goes below, that's fine. I can cop that. Because after that, he's got TDK, he's got Romo, he's got Flynn, English, Meek, and Cameron. He's done fairly well against these guys before. I actually don't mind, after these three, I will hold him for these three and, take the hit to get the run home, basically. And I also get TDK here. So TDK has, a bit of an up and down run home. He's got Big X, then he gets Vicentini, then he gets Cameron, McInerney, Gawne, Meek, Darcy, Jackson, Wits, which is going to be tougher. But again, TDK has the ability to score outside and around the ground, not just depending on rucks. Vicentini again, and then Goldstein. So I'm trying to capitalize on all of it. And then obviously Sherry. So it is what it is. We're expecting bigger things from him, but it just didn't happen. Anyway, so the Gawne trade out, I don't mind at all. If it opens up cash to finish your team, I think that is higher priority than holding on to someone. So that's totally fine. Probably as much time I'm going to spend talking about Gawne. You should know what that cash allows you to do with your team. If it gets you a Mills and a Primo, finishes your whole team, or maybe you're going to throw McCarthy in the flex and use that cash from Gawne on an actual Primo. Maybe you've got an Erasmus you can upgrade. There's a lot of different things you can do here. If it opens up opportunities to finish your team and getting some players you actually do want, not being forced to grab a Mills, I don't hate it. Erasmus, as we said, it's definitely got cash to make. Don't get me wrong, there's still cash to be there, but I just don't know if the job security is there, especially if Nod comes into the picture. Got subbed out. It just, doesn't sound great. But again, team sheet dependent, he could still get a full game. He has done it before. So that's the trade outs. Let's look at the trade ins for all coaches. McCarthy. Now, a lot of people are going to be asking, why are we grabbing McCarthy this week if he's on his bye? First and foremost, we probably don't need the cover. So a lot of us probably aren't going to struggle this week for coverage unless you've, really done a blunder and you like certain players from this round, which fair enough. We don't necessarily need the cover. We're looking at grabbing McCarthy because of what it allows us to do with our team, and we'll walk through that shortly. But after the 133 game that he spiked, it's that Marek 2.0. It's that role that looks so juicy. And if that maintains, it could be a really cheap flex option if we didn't want to grab Mills. I don't think whether it's in your flex option or you're rotating him off a D6, D7, or M8, M9, I think he's perfect for that. And we're going to try and utilize that as well. So McCarthy, whether you get him this week or next, or when he's on the bubble, go for your life. I think he's pretty much a must from a rookie. We haven't had one of those in a while. Mills, again, just value. I would love to see his break even. It doesn't really give you the option to see what's going to happen. So you kind of have to jump now. Because if he goes nuts in whatever role he plays, you might get priced out of him and not get that value. So I don't want to have to jump into him without seeing what the balance looks like with Roberts and Goulden, but we might have to. Madden as well, on the bubble. It's done relatively okay. Negative 89. Going to make heaps of cash for us again, but he's probably a buy flip, most likely, or whenever we hear the words that Briggs is coming back. He's probably getting booted out for that, I imagine. So a little bit of a cash grab. Do you have the trades to facilitate it moving forward for these cash grabs to go up one down on these rookies? Maybe not. Just really go think about how your trade's working. If you've got 12 trades, 10 trades left, then sure, go for it. Darcy and Horn Francis. I'm going to talk about these two together because they both still have high break evens and are still most likely going to lose cash. Darcy does have the ability to hit his break even though, given it's Richmond. So if anyone's going to lose the least amount of cash, it's Darcy. So I'd be more confident jumping into Darcy than Horn Francis this week, simply because of 1, shoulder complaints, 2, high break even, 3, it's against Sydney, who might send Rowbottom or Jordan to him, potentially. They have Butters and Rosie as other tag targets, but if Horn Francis is in there mid-mix and doing damage, they're going to give him some attention. You can bet on that. So that's fine. I still don't mind jumping in Darcy and Horn Francis because at this point, it's almost about just finishing a team, not worrying about the break-evens in cash game. Martin's an interesting one. I don't think I'm very confident on this pick. If you need it because of the role, and yes, the role looks good. I think he is playing off half-back from memory. However, I don't know if he sustains being able to play the rest of the season. So if you need him for cover, it may not be consistent cover. Also has the horrible bye of round 16. So one thing to consider with that. Make sure you got coverage. Alrighty. Ralston is probably just the rookie of the week. Has done some okay things. Again, it's just that bye. Again, had a sub-affected 3, but then came out and did a 79. Looks okay, but again, he's just the pick of the week for the rookie. I dare say I'd rather take McCarthy in a heartbeat. Prestia is an interesting one. So, can't argue that he's been playing very, very well. Has come in and gone lights out. Has some decent matchups coming up. There's some tougher midfields, but also has Essendon in the mix, West Coast in the mix, North in the mix, Gold Coast in the mix. Like, there's some good matchups there. It's just whether he is able to stay fit enough to maintain and play out the rest of the season is the main concern. But he's quite cheap, 426, off the bye. Very, very potty. If you want to take the risk and you haven't taken any risks this season, I don't hate it. But speak to the Tiger squad to really lock in that pick. Johnson's an interesting one that people are grabbing him now. Still going to make cash. I think it's just that role looks really, really nice. Had kick-ins and everything. So he made 66k, so you're jumping in a week late. However, I still think the run looks really, really good. Hopefully he maintains his spot once the big guys come back. And that's just how it is. Butler as well, very much a McCarthy situation. I'm not too sure on the job security front. Clearly has some scoring potential. He might be decent cover for you after the bye if you need a downgrade. I would probably grab a McCarthy this week over a Butler just because it opens up a lot more cash as well. And if you need it, you can grab Butler next week. But I doubt we're probably even considering that. Going into the top 1%. So 1%, again, McCarthy, Darcy. A lot of people are jumping on Darcy more than Mills, which is really interesting. The Horny one, Martin, Madden, even Butters a week late. Again, price didn't change all too much. Jumping in against a tag game of Sydney is probably a little bit sketch. Again, that break even isn't the word. Like, he's not going to get away from you. But again, if Rosie, we got to kind of understand that. Have these previous games where he's had his spike games been because Rosie's been in the midfield mix and he hasn't been the tag target? Whereas now Rosie's playing off half back and they need a midfield most likely to run with him. Probably a row bottom or a Jordan that's going to go there. I don't expect a high score from Butters. I could be absolutely wrong. I don't think Butters is going to have that spike score. I think you might get that 105, 110, which is still decent. Don't get me wrong, still decent. But yeah. Archer May, I think this is just opening up cash in the forward line. 37. I do not know what the job security is like on that. I probably would wait because he's only played the one game, I believe. Just double check that. Yeah. So you could probably jump on him after the bye, if I'm being honest, if you need that downgrade. Jumping into Bont, I understand why you would want to do it because you expect a ceiling game. We expected a decent game against Saints because we were expecting Richards or someone else to cop the tag. But Windy did an absolute number on him, who Windy's probably going to destroy Dacos, let's be honest. But again, I still think you can wait. The matchup is juicy, but it also kills this. Like, we can wait until, round 17, really, depending on how this week goes. I'm not going there. I think there's better value to be found. I'm also probably more reluctant to go there because I have Richards, but everyone's different. If you want the Bont in your team, just go get him. Whatever. It's about finishing your team and finishing it with players that you want and that you think are going to finish very well for you, which Bont is definitely one of them. This 66 game is just going to be the anomaly, and we're just going to be able to pick him up cheaper. That's all it is. If you still want him, go for your life. No issues there. Cool. So with that said, we're going to jump into my team and look at what we're doing this week for our trades. Alrighty. If you've made it this far, make sure you leave a like on the video and comment down below what trades you're planning to do this week. My trades so far are going to be pretty much rolling along with lockout. So the first trade I'm going to do, and is an absolute lock, is I'm trading out Pedlar. I'm swinging Dayweeks into the midfield, into the forward line, and I'm going to get McCarthy into the team. Now, this might be the only trade I do, depending on what happens with our cover. So Roberts comes back in. He apparently reported all good to go. So we're going to loop here because we're going to swing McCarthy and McKercher around. So this just means we get our pick of the barrel. So if Clark ends up popping off, we just take his score, call it even. And then we can, if that doesn't happen, we can throw Carroll in, assuming that he plays and all that fun stuff. If that doesn't work, then we can mix around again. But this way, it means that we get to put McKercher on and we can loop Boxall and Johnson. There are some reports that Boxall is going to get named up again. Whether he performs well enough to warrant trying to take a score is another thing. Again, they do play, I believe, they play one of the last games. So if we just have a look at so they play the last game on Saturday, whereas Essendon have the first game. So this is my first trade that I'm doing this week. Depending on how our cover goes, Johnson should do well. And so I'm imagining that I should be fine in my midfield, that I shouldn't need to trade anything. Because that just means that, I can hold Newcomb. As much as it pains me, I'd rather hold Newcomb than force a rookie on field for the rest of the season. And then that just means we've got our forward line to clean up. So if that is okay, then what we can do is we can wait a week and then we can move some things around and open up some cash with Carroll, who's got more cash to make with a break-even of 11. We can spend our 2 trades that we would have spent this week to get in a Horn Francis or a Darcy to do it next week, get in a Horn Francis once we know he's all good, past a potential tag game, or we can grab Darcy, who's going to lose some cash, hopefully. So we can get plays a little bit cheaper, which we need. We need to maximize that. So what does that mean moving forward for our team? So if, say, for example, our cover's trash, Johnson gets injured, or Clark goes down, we're going to field Carroll. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to trade Newcomb. So we're going to trade Newcomb and we're going to get in someone like a Hewitt, for example. So a Hewitt I like as a pod. Need some pods to just help make a difference, climb those ranks. Could do, again, a forward option here. So we could just do Newcomb, swing day weeks up, move Boxall in for cover, and then grab like a Horny Man or Darcy this week. That's also an option. I really don't feel like going there though, considering that they're going to lose cash. So it's just that awkward timing of I could grab them, but again, I could save some money. I could try to maximize what cash I have left to really make it work. And if that's the case, what happens here is I either rotate through McCarthy and Clark. So, we assume that Carroll gets traded out. We swing Gray back, so then we can loop between Clark and McCarthy at D6. Or McCarthy comes in for McKercher, we swap these around and we loop Johnson and McCarthy if Johnson holds his spot. I don't think I'm going to change this 3 ruck situation. If one of these guys goes down, it means I can put one into R2 and then use the flex position to grab anyone that I want. I'm not forced to grab a ruckman. So I really like that approach. I think I heard that on a potty at some point. What potty it was, could not tell you. It's just a figment of my imagination at this point, but it does exist. But that's like our trade thoughts for the moment, is we could do a lot more, but for the moment, it's just that one trade. So make sure you follow me on X, RookieCoach AFL, to stay up to date with all the trade updates that happen. I may even start doing some shorts. Again, very late in the season to do it, but if you want to stay up to date on all that fun stuff. Again, if you made it this far, like the video and comment down below what your trades are. We're going to quickly jump into VC and C choices, and then we're going to get into some game day squad antics. If you want to win some packs, we've got 5 packs to give away, so make sure you hang around for that very, very shortly. So, VCC options. I think we got Durham, who I believe is still suspended. Let me just make sure about that. Into elevating music. Where is Durham? Yeah, so he comes back in round 17. So their tagger, per se, isn't part of the team. So what you can actually do is, I don't mind a Brayshaw or a Sarong here as a VC. Again, even a Jackson, I think, is a great VC shout against a Goldstein, potentially. So any one of those 3, I think, are fine. I'd probably go Jackson, Brayshaw, and then Sarong in that order. Essendon, again, I just don't think anyone's really putting their hand up to cop the VC. Max Holmes, Bailey Smith, great VC options here. I don't think Neil's an option. And Dunkley might be a good option because it's a smaller ground, which means more tackles, more involvement, assuming he's not doing any weird rotations. I don't think Zorko is as well. We haven't seen halfback, rebounders, or anything like that do too well at GMHBA, enough to warrant a VC. So I think Dunkley might be the only one, or maybe a Will Ashcroft as a VC choice if you wanted to go different. Otherwise, I think Max Holmes or Bailey Smith is a great option there. Carlton versus North. I think Sheasel and Sherry are great options from North. I also think Hewitt is probably the only option from Carlton. I don't expect TDK to have a great game, but I think Hewitt can have a massive game. So Hewitt's probably the only one I'd VC from Carlton. And a Sheasel, even McKercher, if you wanted to go there, you want to be really, really, really left field. I don't mind McKercher here if you've ever got a really safe captaincy option as a backup. So Kirch is a left field option. Don't mind Sheasel or Big X, of course. For Sydney, if you have Grundy, 100% go Grundy. Also, they might send Drew or Bergman to Heaney/Warner. So I probably wouldn't look at those options. Again, Port, they got James Jordan and Rowbottom. I probably would skip this game unless you have Grundy, if I'm being completely honest. Collingwood versus St Kilda. I think Sinclair will have a good game. I think Sinclair's a decent shout. Had a bit of a quiet on last week, but I think that's fine. Again, getting to that last spot on Saturday, this is really your last chance for a vice captain option, or if you want a safe captain option. If you got Cameron, I don't mind a VC on Cameron against Romo. I don't know how Romo would go up against Cameron. Has he come up against Cameron before? Let me just have a quick look. So let's see if they've played. Yeah, so he's done okay previously. Haven't come up against them yet. Maybe. If you need Romo to switch it up, I don't mind it. Who else would we go from this? I don't like McRae. Maybe a Naz. Naz could be a decent shout. Dacos, I'd be worried about the tag from Windy, so I wouldn't go Dacos. I don't know who else you would have from Collingwood outside of Dacos and Cameron. I mean, maybe Josh Dacos, but we haven't really seen a massive ceiling there. Sunday. Love a Whitfield or Green here for a captaincy. I think this is really good. Whitfield's done quite well previously against him, a 137, a 133, then a little bit of quite a game. But he definitely has it all with him if this role is the same as last week, assuming there's no injuries or weird things with Brett Daniels going out now that Callahan's back. I think Green or Whitfield are fine options. Again, Green's done okay previously. Not the greatest. I'd probably go Whitfield more than Green. Bedford might go to Ando. He's not going to go with Rao, so I don't mind Rao here. Rao should do okay. But the main one here, I think we're all leaning towards this game. I think Adele, Richards, or Bont is a perfectly fine captaincy option here. Maybe a Nake against English, if you want to go Richmond player. But those three are the big dogs, that Western Bulldogs, that I think most will be captaining. So I'm probably going to captain Dale for this one. And we're probably going to VC Sherry. Again, I could VC Holmes. It's a home game. He went nuts last time. Smith could also go nuts as well. Again, it's just that DE that lets him down, whereas Holmes just does some wonders. So I don't mind it. If there's any word that like Sherry's, trying to play with an injury or a niggle, I'm probably going to go Holmes into Dale. But I think Dale is a perfectly safe option here against Richmond. He's the only team that he averages, like they let him average over 25 disposals against them. So he's just been playing so good. How can he not go there? But that's the VC and C choices. Make sure you let me know down below what options you're doing. And now, finally, let's jump into the game day squad. We've got some pack openings, and we're going to look at our team leading into round 15. Alrighty, so if you made it this far and you are here for the game day squad, my goodness, what a mouthful. Let's get into it. We've got some cool pack openings. We've got 3 9 common players. Now, again, the giveaway is 5 3-player common packs that we can give. Again, you can get anywhere from bronze to platinum to help build out your contender team. If you want to win those packs, which will be randomly selected by lockout on Thursday, again, make sure you follow me on X. Make sure you can receive the DM with the codes. All you need to do here is just go into the comments and either tell me what your VC and C is and what your trades are, and then just make sure you highlight and put in GDS, your team name. All you need to do, GDS and your team name, just for an entry, and then you can get one of these packs. So just make sure you comment below with your game day squad team name, and you can get one of these packs for nothing. And it could potentially help your team. You could get a platinum, you could get a gold Bailey Smith, you never know. But we've got 5 packs to open up here. So we're going to go ahead and do that because I want better players in my team. So we're going to open them. We're going to smash through this and see what we can get. So let's just have a quick look here. Now, let me see if I can zoom in on this a little bit. Oh, I cannot. It's not letting me zoom in. Let's see if I can fix that here. Where's my zoom? Can I zoom? Why isn't it letting me zoom? Anyway, we'll have a look at these players. So let me see. Can I click this player? That is Berry. Not that we can see it. Give me one moment. Let me see if I can fix this. All right, we're going to keep rolling because I cannot zoom in on this webpage. Interesting enough. So we got Berry from Brisbane. Fine. We've got Perkins from Essendon. Not bad. We've got a few golds here, so we're going to leave them to last. We've got a Smiley, I think, which is probably a good rookie one to hold on to. We've got a Williams in a silver. We've also got a Guelphy in Essendon. Now our golds. Kalen Smith, that's probably a decent rookie one to hold on to. Ollie Lord, not bad. Who have we got here? Deline? Very nice. We'll have a look at these players. Oh, we've got a Toby Bedford in a gold. Very nice. Let's just have a look at these players a little bit more closely. So we've got Zach Williams. No, zoom in on this page. There we go. We get a little bit more look here. So we've got Williams, we've got Smith, Smiley, Bedford, Perkins, Ollie Lord, Golfy, and Berry. And then we got Deline as well. Not bad at all. I can zoom in here. I wonder if it keeps me zoomed in for that. Let's open up these. Go to the next pack. See what we can get. All right. Silver, silver, gold, gold, silver, 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 gold, and silver. So we've got Lob. Not a bad one. We've got Grego. Warple. Not horrible. Lukosius when he's back and fit. Soldo, not horrible. And Isaac Heaney Silver, that's actually really nice. I don't mind that at all. That's a pretty decent card. The War, really nice rookie card. A Francis. And who's our last gold of this one? Oh, no, not the Pal Pepper. As someone would have known, if you saw me on Supercoach Edge's channel, and even on After Dark, we made a lot of fun of this Pal Pepper dude kissing his bald head. Not bad at all. We'll see if we can zoom in a little bit more and see if it resets us. We'll have a better look at these cards. It's our last Night Player Common Pack. Let's see if we can get a platinum. Please. Gold, gold, silver, gold, silver, silver, gold, silver. Okay, so a few silvers. Blakey, don't mind it. Who is that? A rookie, I'm going to guess. Carroll, another rookie. Bobby Hill, not bad. Okay, another rookie. Ben Ryan, a gold. Okay. Warner, a gold. Come on, give us something special for our last gold to use. Caulfield. This is haunting me from last season in Supercoach. So not bad, not bad. We're going to look to see what we can do with these cards in a minute because we can use those cards to actually benefit our contender team, actually do some trades on the trade block. But we've got 2 rare packs we're going to do. Now, I'm not sure what the rate pool is on this, but I'm excited to see what we get. So we get a gold. I don't know if that's platinum or a diamond. And a gold. So we'll go the golds first. Salem, not bad. Constanti, decent rookie. Oh, and Elijah Hewitt platinum. That's actually not bad. I like that. That's good. Give us something like a diamond. How about that? Can you do that for me, please? What's this? Gold. Gold. We've got a diamond, ladies and gentlemen. We have a diamond. Okay. Oh, I don't know what gods we need to pray for a good diamond, but we're praying to him. Massimo D'Ambrosio. I like it. That's good. I actually like holding that card. Remember, Dougal Howard. Let's not forget, this is a dynasty format. So you can hold these cards for as many seasons as you want. So if they're rookies and they come up and actually are, imagine having a rookie Bailey Smith or a cheap Bailey Smith at the Bulldogs that now plays for Geelong is getting all that. Like that's sort of the stuff. Let's hope we get a decent diamond here. Come on. I mean, it's all right. Allen's not bad. Hopefully he does something in his rookie years that make him almost undeniable. We're going to zoom out a little bit here. So not bad. Let's just review what cards we got. So we're gonna zoom out a little bit more. So Allen is our diamond, which we can trade down to get some really nice cards. We've got a few golds. We've got a platinum, which is nice. A few silvers. Some decent ones. So let's have a look at our team now and see what we can do automatically. So go into our contender team. Now, who can we replace? Now, we've got some bronzes. There's probably some golds we can look at. Who out of here would we want to move? Because there's not a lot. Daniel's fine. Horn Francis is fine. Smith is fine. Jackson's fine. Do we have any forward options? Not really. Not really. We've got a few golds, but nothing too crazy. Yeah. Not a massive fan there. What about our midfield? If we were to change out Hewitt, who have we got? We sort by our rarity. So Ambrosio, I don't know what his averaging is, but it was just on his buy. It meant, again, acknowledging that the scoring system is more like fantasy and not Supercoach, so it's not as critical. So players that we don't expect and have really good games. Setterfield being one of them from Essendon is a really good pick here. So that's fine. What about, who would we want to move out of here? See if we want to replace a Martin and we go to our rarity. Who have we got? So we've got Smith, Caulfield, Warner, Dougal Howard, Salem. Salem might not be too bad. Let's swap in Salem. Let's see if we can view what his stats are. So not the greatest. He's had some really nice games. just an 83. Not sure I would spend my salary cap on that though. So we're going to bring Martin back in. So at the moment, with the cards that we've got, nothing too crazy we can do for updating. But what we can do is we can actually trade these. So for the bronze cards, you can only trade them. For anything above, you can sell for in-game currency to buy packs and so on and so forth, if you were ever so inclined to do that. But what are some cards that we think hold some value that we can trade? So we've got a Heaney that we can actually look at. So why did that not come up? Who can I replace for a Heaney? Let's have a look at our matchups. So Sydney have Port. Oh, it's probably not a game we want to bring in Heaney anyway. So, but this is something you can do. Is you can swap out based on fixture. So Hewitt, I actually want to keep. Allen, I could probably trade. But let's have a look at our goals that we can trade, because they're probably going to be easier to trade. And you can see I'm trading a few now, just for some bronzes and silvers. Even have a platinum O'Meara that I don't want. But let's have a look at our silvers here. So who's going to have some value that we can trade out? We could trade a Heaney out. We could trade Blakey out and Warple, even a Lob. Perkins maybe. Smiley might be a good one to hold on to. Berry's pretty decent as well. But let's just choose one. We've got Membry as well we can trade. We've got Dougal, Howard, and Silver. Let's trade a Blakey. So if we look at previous round, he had a massive game. He's averaging 109. So let's just say we want to get some bronze cards for him. So using a silver, we can trade down to bronze. So what we can do is we can go bronze. Now let's just say I want a Dale, because I actually do want a Dale. We can request a bronze, or we can request a silver Dale. Not that anyone's going to do that trade. But by following this sort of theme, what we can do is try to grab some bronze players that we really want. So who else could we want in our team in the back line? It doesn't even have to be back line. Like we could ask for a Gawn or a Sherry. Who do I want in the forward line? I've got the Horny Man. Oh, what about a Darcy? We want a Darcy. We've already got a Darcy, actually. Why am I wanting a Darcy? But you kind of get the idea here. So we can submit this trade, and that means we'll get notified if anyone actually offers one of those cards up. Now, a little bit different if we go by our gold. So if we go gold here, there actually might be some things we can do. So a gold Dwyer might be nice. Cal Pepper, Kalen Smith. So some of these ones are rookies that we probably would like to hold on to. A Bedford, I might be happy to let go. So I might request some silver cards for this, such as your Dale, such as your, give me silver, as a Richards. And we can request up to 4 players. So this is really handy if you want to trade players down. Who else would I like? I would love a Bailey Smith, potentially, if someone was ever so inclined to give me a silver Bailey Smith. I could also get a, who else is good? Let's just say Rosie. Rosie is silver is pretty good too. So we could do something like this. Now I'm going to submit this, and then I'll get notified when anyone wants to offer cards for that I've highlighted that I want. So you'll get notified and you can accept it, and then it's going to come in. So if you ever want to see what's on your trade block, just come down to type, hit trade block, and you can see what your trades are within that rarity as well. So these are all my trade items. If you want to snatch them up, go for it. But this is pretty much what we're going to do throughout the week to kind of build our team each week. Now you get prizes, you get packs for bronze, commons, or whatever, for playing well and having high scores, all that fun stuff. So again, you don't feel inclined to have to spend money here. You can play for free, win for free. So good. So good and easy. Alrighty, that ticks us for our 45-minute video. If you've made it this far, make sure you do like and subscribe. If you haven't already, again, tell me what you guys are planning to do for your trades for your Supercoach and how your team went in contender for the last round of 14 and how your team's shaping up for round 15. Don't forget to comment with your game day squad name below to make sure you go in the running for the prize, which will be drawn on Thursday before lockout. I will announce the winners on X. Probably won't stream it, but you guys know how I do it. I just do a random wheel generator of anyone who puts their entry in, and then I'll reach out to you guys for that. So you can put your packs in, and you can have a chance at improving your team just before lockout on Thursday. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all your support. You guys have been absolute legends, and I will see you on Saturday night for our usual After Dark. Cheers.